What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Syleena Johnson is a part of, I believe it's a quartet of ladies on a Fox Soul show, which is LisaRaye, Vivica Fox, herself, and I believe Claudia Jordan. And all of the ladies are highly opinionated on that particular broadcast. And what I believe makes Syleena Johnson different from the remainder of those ladies is, one, she's still married. And I believe she's the only one that was a singer out of any of the groups. And so her being from the Chicago area and being a singer, she has somewhat of a personal relationship with R. Kelly. Okay. And so when R. Kelly became, indicted and then also found guilty, she made some controversial comments that could have been seen as support for him, and not only him, but for black men. She pretty much says that he has been misjudged in the case. He doesn't need to be in jail. He needs to be in an insane asylum. And so when you saw their reactions to her commentary, you could almost see how pissed off they were. And again, I'm not here to defend R. Kelly coming or going. I don't know him. I've only heard about things that I've seen. I don't know him personally, but it is quite apparent that Syleena Johnson knows another part of him that we don't. And I think that's what we can sometimes forget, even in, cases where people do, egregious things like murders and stuff like that. For example, if I was to, get convicted of something egregious, my mom or people who know me would speak to different sides of me that the prosecutor will point out. And Syleena knows some things about R. Kelly that we don't. Enough for her to come out and say that he needs mental help and he's being misjudged. Okay? Maybe there are a lot of good things about R. Kelly that we don't know. Maybe there are things people tried to do to him or things he suffered. But what she said, which was most important, is that a lot of black men have been misjudged in jail. So she used R. Kelly to paint a bigger picture about what's going on with African American male society. That many of us have been painted and that many of us have been misjudged. And many of us are in jail when nobody has looked at giving us the correct help. The same thing can even be talked about with reference to black women. And I want to use that segment to go into something, more on a macro scale, which is how many of us misjudge each other where we can't get the help that we need as black men. Okay? I had a problem with that, family. I wanted to talk about that. A lot of times, being a biology major, then finishing school, doing, fairly well for myself, I didn't have a lot of empathy for what other people went through. I just didn't. People had problems. It was their issue. I just cared about what I was going through and stuff like that. And for whatever, strain of bad luck, I was just really judgmental. And I'm like, well, this is what you get and all this and stuff. And I'm like, wow, and as I've gotten older, I've understood that I don't have a lot of compassion. I didn't have a lot of compassion for our men, right? For my community. To understand the resources that we may need to help our people develop. And what happens is that once we take that mentality towards one another as black men, I'm not speaking about R. Kelly now, I'm speaking about black men, we can't develop our group of men at all. If we don't have any compassion for what our men have went through, we don't see the humanity in our men, our community will continue to suffer as it is done. And I want to thank her for bringing humanity back to the African American male, to the African American man. Because he has feelings also, right? There are many times that people can be misjudged and they can go a certain way. You know, a lot of times when we see guys get killed in the street, or guys die, or guys go to jail for a long period of time, we just, well, that's what he gets. But we don't know, like, how did he get there? How did he go on that path? Is there a reason why he went on that path? We don't look at why to stop maybe somebody else from going on that path. You know, and really what I believe that she's trying to say here is the system is never going to give you the help that you need. They're going to keep misjudging you. I'll just take it a step further. They're going to keep misjudging black women. They're going to keep misjudging everybody else. It's up to us to provide solutions for our people to do better things in black America or in the black world today. And it starts with us having compassion for what our people go through. That includes the men, that includes black women, that includes the kids. We have to start understanding why our people are suffering. Our people, many of them need help. If we don't create the resources for our black men to be able to talk to somebody, this is the reason why I say, you know, if you see a brother, like I like in Uganda, I see people, they come talk to me. One guy, I don't know if you're out there, brother, he's from Baltimore. And, you know, he saw me on the elevator at a Acacia Mall, and he's like, hey, man, I'm a big fan of your channel. He just walked away, right? I said, hey, bro, come back, man. I just want to talk to you for a second. He's like, oh, man, well, I don't want you to think that I was just, you know, trying to take up all your time. Just, you know, really just thinking that, you know, I was going to, like, I didn't have no time for him. But I did, right? I mean, like, when I see our guys out in the world, I always speak to them. You know, I always talk to people. Because you never know what that person's going through. You never know if that person may need a hand, or if you may need a hand. You just don't know. Right? And I try to be a beacon of light, because so many folks have done that for me. You know, have really helped me out in my personal life, have taken times out to do nice things for me and to see that I'm doing okay. And a lot of times as black men, it seems like we just don't have that kind of energy for each other. We know we got time for everything else but for, you know, caring about our issues. And so when we talk about black women not noticing our issues, largely it can become because we don't notice them. And people tend to treat you how you treat each other. And I want to say for black men that's listening to this, we gotta start to value our images. How we have to bring forth to light the issues that we go through. Maybe if R. Kelly's issues that he suffered as a child were brought more to the limelight, people would have maybe a better understanding of how he got to how he was. But it wasn't. Many times black men have, you know, traumatic things happen to them, and, you know, black men are told to just get over it. And a lot of our men grow up to be hurt. Even if they're successful, they're still hurt. They're still largely damaged. But if black men don't create the resources for black men to get over their their own personal problems, then we can't fix our people. Our guys are going to continue to be at the bottom. And we have to understand that is an opportunity for us to grow. We have to take care of our men. We have to look at what our men go through. And I'm very appreciative for black women out there who understand that. Just like, you know, with black women, I know a lot of black women that go through a lot of problems, a lot of pain, things like that. But we're responsible as the black community for fixing our people. Nobody else will do it for you. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. Check out the first comment at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out.